So diagnosis is nothing but you get to know the clarity regarding what the problem actually is. So this is called diagnosis. The employees, there's transparency regarding everything. The change agent is explaining them what is the problem and how we are going to solve it. So what happens here is the employees will be actively involved in the change process. If you're not able to alter the behavior of the employees as per the organization goals, obviously you won't be able to be effective. Hello everyone, this is Purna Chandra, Faculty Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram, the Temple of Excellence. So we are dealing with the subject organizational behavior, and we are dealing with the third unit, and today will be your second unit, and the name of the unit is Change Management. So in the previous class, what we understood was meaning and definition of organizational change. That is, what is actually organization change? Why the organization has to change its strategies, policies, plans, objectives, etc. That is regarding organization change. And we also dealt with the nature of planned change and also various importance of planned change. That is why planned change is necessary for the betterment of the organization. So in today's class, we will be understanding two theories regarding planned change. So the first theory is action research model, and the second theory is LEWIN'S change model. So both these models are based on planned change, how organization can implement new changes in the organization. So we will start. So there are two theories, as I've already explained, as I already mentioned. So it is action research model and LEWIN'S change model. So we will deal one by one. So the first model which we will be dealing is action research model. So we will understand how the change can be implemented through this model. So here it is another view of the organizational change. That is, you are seeing certain things which are inappropriate, inadequate, and it is not necessary. You want to alter those behavior. So you get another view of the organization change. So in what way I can change the present behavior so that things will go well for me. So it is an organization change process that is based on research model. So there are research model based on the model. The changes will be implemented inside the organization. The change agent is usually an outside person. So there's a change agent who is in charge of implementing the change. He might be a researcher or a human resource manager, but he is an outside person, not an inside person to the organization. So we'll understand how. So here model contributes towards betterment of the organization. That is, suppose the organization productivity is less because people are not behaving in a responsible manner. So for the betterment of the organization, there is a necessary to change the behavior of the people inside the organization. So this model works towards altering the behavior of the people inside the organization for the betterment of the organization. Then advancement of knowledge of the organization. So organization wants to know in what areas they are lagging behind, what is the actual problem, what is the root cause of the problem. So to gather such knowledge, this model is helpful. So action research provides scientific methodology for managing planned change. That is, there are certain steps which you will be understanding. So there is a scientific methodology in which each things will be understood so that we come out with a change effectively. So this is the basis for your action research model. So next, we will understand the process of action research model. So what is the basic process of action research? There are 5 steps. Process of action research consists of 5 steps. First, there is a diagnosis. After diagnosis, there is an analysis. Then they develop an action plan. Then action, and finally evaluation. So these are the 5 steps in the process of action research. So we'll deal one by one. So the first step is diagnosis. So basically, what is diagnosis? So diagnosis is nothing but you get to know the clarity regarding what the problem actually is. So this is called diagnosis. The change agent, that is the researcher or the HR manager, gathers information from the members. So he wants to gather information and find out the root cause of the problems. So in what ways he gathers the information? So in the following sequence, he gathers the information regarding what are the different problems, whether the employees are disciplined or not, whether they are exhibiting very bad behavior, they are giving back answers to the manager, they are not motivated, they are not happy with the salary. So you get information. Then anxieties, that is whether the people inside the organization are nervous because they are not trained well, they are not working well, that is anxieties. Then required changes. So also they gather information regarding what aspects we can bring about a change, whether we have to go for new kinds of training or whether we have to provide better working conditions. Everything will be mentioned. So next, so the information, these informations, in what way they will gather, we will understand. So the information is gathered by asking questions. That is, they prepare the questionnaire and they submit to the other members of the organization. They fill the questionnaires and you get the information. And interviews. Departmental heads will be called for an interview by the change agent and he will ask various questions so that he gets some information. Then review of records, that is previous year profit, previous year balance sheets, account statements, everything can be reviewed to get some information regarding profitability and productivity. What was the sales previous year? What was the cost? Everything can be found out. Then listening to the employees. So there are a lot of employees who want to share their stories. By listening to their stories, you get some information. This is called diagnosing. That is, you are collecting information from the employees to find out what is the root cause of the problems. So diagnosis will help the agent in finding out what is ailing the organization. That is, ailing means what is the actual problem. You get to know in diagnosis. So next, you go for analysis. That is, after diagnosis, you know what is the problem. Then you analyze the problem. So in analysis, the information gathered in the first step is analyzed here. That is, what information you have gathered in diagnosis is analyzed here. Consistency and pattern of problems are studied. What is the meaning of this? Consistency means what are the different patterns of problem will be analyzed and what are the recurring problems. That is, what is the frequency of these problems? How many times are they happening over and over again will be studied. So that is the thing. So information gathered is always analyzed into primary concern. So basically, what is primary concern? Whether it is posing a threat to the organization or not. If it is posing a threat to the organization, then it is a primary concern. That is, it is your first concern. So you will have to deal with those problems first. Then problem areas. So what are the different problem areas? That is, whether there is a problem with the finance department or production, marketing, sales. So here, there also you are doing some analysis. Then possible actions. So what are the different problems which you have analyzed? What is the solution to that? In what way you can rectify that? So that is called possible action. So it is analysis. You analyze the problem and you come out with possible actions for that problem. Next, you go for developing action plan. Now diagnosis is done and also analysis is done. Now you want to do some actions. So for that, you develop an action plan. So the change agent will share with the employees what has been found in diagnosis and analysis. So what diagnosis they have done, what are the problems and in what way they can tackle those problems. Everything will be shared with the employees in a transparent way. Here there is a meeting between the change agent and the employees and they discuss the problems and in what way they can deal with those problems. Thus, employees will be actively involved in any change program. So here what happens? The employees, there's transparency regarding everything. The change agent is explaining them what is the problem and how we are going to solve it. So what happens here is the employees will be actively involved in the change process. So it determines what the problem is. So you know what the actual problem is, how to create the solution. So you also know how to create a solution to the problem. So change agent in participation with employees develop action plan to bring needed changes. So they develop action plan to bring needed changes. You know the problem, you know the solution. To come out with the solution to the problem, you are developing the action plan. This is called developing action plan. So next we go for action. Now you have developed the action plan. Now you have to do some action or motion. This is the step. Action plans decided in the previous step are put into action or motion. So what action plan you have developed in the third step are actually implemented in this phase. Next, the employees and the change agent carry out specific actions to correct the problem. So here the actual work has begun. There was a problem, you got a solution. To deal with those solutions, you have a plan, you are implementing it in the form of action in this step. So next, evaluation. Now after implement, you have to evaluate it. Action research provides a scientific methodology for managing planned change. So everything is scientific because the change agent is a researcher or a HR manager who is experienced. So everything will be done in a scientific way. In this step, the change agent evaluates the effectiveness of the action plan. So what actions you have taken to solve the problem inside the organization, whether it is really working or not, you are getting to know when you are evaluating them. Since employees are actively involved, resistance to change is reduced. So employees are actively involved. So because there is transparency, the change agent has communicated with them and come out with the change, they will not resist. So finally, the evaluation provides valuable information to organization and research. So on evaluation, if it is a successful one, so it gives knowledge to organization how to deal with the problems, as well as the researcher how to deal with such kind of problems in future. So this is regarding your evaluation. So now we are going for the next model of plan change, that is Kurt-Lewin's change model. So what is the basis for Kurt-Lewin's change model? We will understand here. The main aim of organization change is to change the behavior of employees. So it mainly deals with behavior of employees. So if you rectify the behavior of employees, then you can rectify other things like productivity, profitability, increasing the sales, decreasing the cost. That is the motto here. Unless the behavior of the members change, it will have little impact on the effectiveness of the organization. So if you're not able to alter the behavior of the employees as per the organization goals, obviously you won't be able to be effective. So if you're not effective, that means it is a message that your organization is not doing well. There is no profit as a result of no productivity. This is the meaning here. So next, behavior changes cannot be expected overnight. So now for example, there is a problem in the organization, you want to alter the behavior. That is not possible overnight. You will have to spend some months to change the behavior inside the organization according to your goals. So here, a commonly accepted model for bringing change suggested by Kurt-Lewin. So here, Kurt-Lewin, he wanted to come out with a model. So he suggested one model so that you can bring the change in the behavior of the people inside the organization. We'll understand what this model actually is. So Kurt-Lewin's change model, there are three phases which you people will be understanding here. The first one is unfreezing, changing, refreezing. So we'll deal with them one by one. So, unfreezing, this is the first phase. Unfreezing means old ideas and attitudes are set aside to give place to new ideas. That is, old ideas which were not fetching you good results, old behavior which was not giving you productivity or profitability, and old attitudes which were not productive in nature are set aside. That is, they are eliminated and the place is given away for new set of ideas which will enhance the effectiveness of the organization. That is the behavior pattern of people. It refers to making people aware that the present behavior is inappropriate. So in unfreezing, you identify what behavior is inappropriate. That is, there are certain set of people inside the organization, they don't know how to behave when. They don't know how to behave with what kind of people. So you identify that inappropriate behavior and irrelevant. And certain employees, they speak irrelevant things because they might lack knowledge, they might lack training, they don't know what to speak, so they speak in a very irrelevant way. So that has to be identified. And inadequate, then certain people, they lack knowledge and they don't have adequacy in their communication. That is, they don't have good vocabulary and they speak things which are not sufficient, they are not potential enough. So that behavior also be understood here. So the management creates an atmosphere wherein the employees have self-motivation. So here management has to create an atmosphere where you identify these things and then you motivate your employees to eliminate these things and come out with a better behavior. So this is the meaning here. So next, in unfreezing, elements that are necessary during the unfreezing phase. So there are a lot of elements that are necessary during the unfreezing phase. First one, the physical removal of individuals from accustomed routines. What is the meaning of this? So accustomed routines means there are a lot of employees who are doing the same job from past 15 to 20 years. They are well versed with the job and they are with the same routine. They don't want to learn something new. They have not got the energy inside them. So what you have to do, you have to remove them from such routines and make them active. That is the ideology here. Source of information, and also certain individuals stick to only one source of information. They don't want to upgrade. So there also you have to alter things. Social relationships. Certain individuals, they form group with certain people and they don't mingle with other people. So you have to break the social relationships, such relationships which are not profitable or which are not required. Then undermining and destruction of social support. So what is the meaning of this? So certain people will support them. Whatever behavior they are doing, they are supporting them. So what you have to do, you have to undermine and destruct such social support which is against the organizational goal. So next, in unfreezing, elements that are necessary during the unfreezing phase: demeaning and humiliating experience to help individuals. So what happens? Demeaning means you have to humiliate certain people inside the organization if they are doing anything wrong. So when you humiliate them in front of everyone, he gets to know whether he was doing anything that is not necessary for the organization. So then what happens? He motivates himself and rectifies himself. That is humiliating. That is, when you humiliate someone for their wrongdoing, he will correct himself. That is the meaning. Next, consistent linking of reward with willingness to change. So if there is any person who is willing to change his behavior, what happens? He will be given some rewards in the form of bonus, incentives, etc. And punishment with unwillingness to change. What happens? If certain people are not ready to change, then they will have to face certain punishment. That is the meaning. So next, in unfreezing, we will just conclude unfreezing, what we did. So thus unfreezing involves discarding the orthodox and conventional methods. That is, you're discarding orthodox and conventional old methods inside the organization, and you're introducing dynamic behavior appropriate to the situation. That is, you are eliminating unwanted stuff and you are coming out with new stuff that will enhance the productivity of the organization. Next, by discarding the primitive way of doing things, people are made to expect new alternatives. So what happens? You are eliminating the primitive, that is the old way of working, and you are introducing new way of working with new behavior. So things will fall in place. So this is the thing. So next, after unfreezing, we are going for the second phase, that is changing. Unlike freezing, changing is not uprooting of the old ideas. So it is not the uprooting of the old ideas, but you are changing it. Here, old ideas are gradually replaced by new ideas and practices. Because old ideas are not getting you results, you are going for new ideas and practices so that you achieve your organization goal. Next, new learning occurs. So here in changing, you give new learning to the employees. Various alternatives of behavior must be made available to fill the vacuum created by unfreezing. So in unfreezing, what you have done, inappropriate behavior has been eliminated. So now you need to fill that vacuum. You have eliminated the behavior vacuum. So what happened? Various alternatives of behavior must be made available. So you are coming out with various behavior alternatives to fill the vacuum created by the unfreezing phase. Individuals are provided with alternatives out of which to choose the best one. So the individuals are given many behavior pattern and they have to select one best behavior pattern. So next, changing phase can be explained in the following elements. Compliance. Compliance occurs when individuals are forced to change either by rewards or punishment. That is, you do well, you behave well, you get reward. If you are not going with a good behavior, then you will be punished. This is compliance. Then what is internalization? So it occurs when individuals are forced to encounter a situation and calls for new behavior. So internalization, basically what it means is, suppose there's a new situation and the employee cannot behave in the new situation in the old way, then he has to behave in a new behavior. That is the meaning of internalization. Next, changing phase can be explained in the following elements. Identification. Identification occurs when individuals recognize one among various models provided in the environment that is more suitable to their personality. So identification means people inside the organization identify the behavior that will suit their personality. So each one's personality is different. So based on their personality, they select their behavior pattern. This is the meaning. So after changing, the last phase is refreezing. So in refreezing, what happens? It is an on-the-job practice. That is, when you're doing the job itself, they will refreeze you. So here, we'll understand. The old ideas are totally discarded and new ideas are fully accepted. So old ideas which are not fetching results will be eliminated and new ideas which have the prospect of productivity or organization goals are accepted. Then it is reinforced attitude, skills and knowledge. That is, previous attitudes are eliminated, new attitudes are inculcated, previous skills are discarded, new skills are being trained, and knowledge, so inefficient knowledge or insufficient knowledge will be fulfilled by giving them good knowledge. That is the meaning. During this phase, individuals internalize the new beliefs. So they get to know the new beliefs, feelings. So what are the new feelings inside the organization, how motivated they are, whether they are happy. Then behavior, obviously it is the change of behavior because the model itself is working for a change in the behavior. So next, in refreezing, he practices and experiments with new methods of behavior and sees whether it is effective. So here, new methods of behavior will be taught to the individuals inside the organization, and they will check whether it is effective or not. It is very important for the manager concerned to visualize that the new behavior is not extinguished soon. That is, it is very important that what new behavior the employees have been taught, what employees are exhibiting is not extinguished soon. That is, it should stay for a longer period of time, not a short period of time like 1 month or 2 months. So it should be for a longer period of time like years. So the manager concerned should make sure that it lasts long. That is the meaning. So next, here there are two kinds of reinforcement in your refreezing. So we will understand continuous reinforcement. So here individuals learn from new behavior within no time. So the behavior is learned very quick because it might be very easy to come out with a new behavior, and major risk here is new behavior ceases very soon. That is, what they have learned very fast will go very quick. That is, they might change their behavior all of a sudden. So that is the risk here in continuous reinforcement. Then there's one more reinforcement called intermittent reinforcement. So consumes a long span of time. So intermittent reinforcement means it takes a long time for the individuals to come out with new behavior pattern. So has the greatest advantages of ensuring a long lasting change. So here people are taking more period of time to come out with new behavior pattern, and it will last long. This kind of intermittent reinforcement will last long. That is the meaning. So next, so we are done with today's session. So in the next session, what we'll be understanding is factors influencing change, resistance to change and how to overcome it, empowering people to manage change, activities contributing to effective change management. Thank you.